I have stood at this water's edge for 73 years. My bones are Pittsburgh steel. My joints run on grease and prayer. They call me Crane Number 7. The longshoremen call me Old Bess. I have lifted the weight of Empire's sugar from Hawaii automobiles, from Japan electronics, from Shenzhen. I have held the future in my cables and lowered it gently onto American soil. But it is not the cargo I remember. It is the people. Elijah Carter came to the port of Oakland in 1952 with cardboard in his shoes and everything he owned in a canvas bag. He came from Mississippi, where cotton grew tall enough to swallow a man whole and the wages were low enough to bury him. He learned to read a ship the way a farmer reads weather. He joined the union, he became a voice. And he taught me something no engineer ever could. That a man's labor has value. That a man's life has value. That the whole religion of the waterfront is this: you watch out for the people around you, and they watch out for you. His daughter walked into the hiring hall in 1982. The first woman mechanic on the Oakland waterfront. Josephine Carter carried a tool bag over one shoulder like a soldier carrying a rifle. 47 men went quiet when she walked in. She didn't need them to like her. She needed them to respect the work. And when my main bearing seized on a January morning, a 40-ton container dangling 70 feet above the dock, she climbed me. She climbed me in the fog with bleeding hands and a refusal to quit that she'd inherited from her father. She is the bravest person who has ever touched my steel. Now Marcus sits in my cabin, the third Carter to put his hands on my controls. He has his grandfather's patience and his mother's fire. But the world is changing. They are building machines that do not need human hands, machines that do not remember, machines that cannot love the weight of a ship. They say progress has no room for memory. They say automation is the future. But Marcus built a coalition. He brought the photograph of his grandfather leaning against my steel. He stood before the commission and said, "The people who built this port deserve to be partners, not casualties. They deserve to be at the table when you decide the future." They say the future belongs to machines that do not remember. But I am a machine, and I remember. And I love. I remember every worker, every shift, every prayer whispered in a dark cabin 70 feet above the water. Every child who pointed at me and gave me a name. Every hand that trusted me with its life. My name is Old Bess. I have held the weight of the world in my cables, and I will stand here for as long as there are people worth standing for. Which is to say, forever.